Hello, and welcome back to Drama After Dark from WGBH, where tonight we're talking about the Season 9 premiere of Call the Midwife. I'm Jackie, your co-host, as always joined by Andrea Willannon, my dashing co-host.
Hello, and I think you can tell we're doing things a little differently this time because we are, like good doobies, social distancing.
Indeed. Yay! So all of GBH right now is staying home pretty much, with some very important people being the exceptions, the ones that are keeping the station on the air. But we do not need to be in the office to bring you Drama After Dark, so here we are in our own homes. And to that end, you may hear some weird noises in the background. You may hear different things than normal because, you know, we live in a city.
And
so bear with us.
I have children directly upstairs above me, so...
So yeah, bear with us as we try to keep the show as normal as possible in these less than normal circumstances. So to kick things off, as always, we're going to do the speed recap. Andrea, are you ready to do this today?
I don't know, different situation, different circumstances. I can try.
I believe in you. I'm going to hold up the timer for you. I am going to try and make it so that you guys at home can see this, but as you can see, I'm holding it on my computer, so let's give it a shot. Are you ready, Willannon?
I am ready.
And go!
First of all, Poplar is going to hell in a handbasket. Houses are, as always, being torn down and people displaced. The council's got it in from the Notches once again, and Sister Julianne is not having any of it. Watch this space for more. Morality is also going downhill, but not without the help from Trixie, who loops the gals into a leg modeling competition. Scandalous. Meanwhile, diphtheria plagues the neighborhood. Fred finds the baby in a trash, and Winston Churchill dies, but everyone ends up happily ever after. For now. Oh, damn, look at all that.
You have a lot of time left.
The trash also ends up happily ever after with her mom. There we
go. Good. That was good. I'm impressed. You really, nailed that recap.
This, I found, to be honest, a lot does happen in Call the Midwife, but it's not quite like Sanditon or Poldark level, where 3 years occur in the space of one episode. It's 4 days. So
right, and I think they do a lot more slow burn stuff with the relationships, so you'll have time to process.
Exactly, and I think one of the things that I think it would be helpful for us to mention to the audience is that we actually, this is the first time Jackie and I have watched Call the Midwife.
Yes, that's notable.
That is very notable. So with Poldark, we've been watching it since the beginning, pretty much. And with Sanditon, obviously, we've been watching it since the beginning. So
right.
Season. And I think that with this, we have to catch up on 8 seasons, because this is the 9th, I believe.
8 seasons, each season with a very long Christmas special. Yeah. And we basically decided that we were going to do Call the Midwife and got greenlit a month ago. So you and I have, for the last month, been just mainlining Call the Midwife right into our eyeballs. It's been a real journey.
What a wild ride it has been. And I think, we've had a lot of favorite moments over the series, and we were considering doing that as one of our topics this week, is our favorite moments all along the way. But honestly, there were too many for us to have condensed into a decent favorite moments segment. So we decided that we were going to just do favorite moments from this episode.
Yes, and we have a lot, actually, because this was a really fun episode.
Yeah. I feel like they've gotten, and for those of you who've been watching it for a while, I feel like Call the Midwife has gotten a little lighter, and I'm kind of surprised. I'm waiting for the hammer to drop.
I agree, but I do think that between the, all of Poplar is condemned and, something bad is going to happen to someone this season. Because I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but it feels to me as though, they alternate between, a nice plot in the season finale and someone dying. Yeah. And last season, no one died. So I'm really worried about all of our favorites.
Yeah, and to be honest, the Christmas special was not depressing enough, so I was like, something's going to happen.
Exactly. Well, knock on wood that everyone stays safe and healthy in Poplar and out there in internet land. Please.
Yeah. All of you out there, please stay healthy.
Yeah.
And now, we'll tell you about our favorite moments from Season 9, Episode 1.
Exactly.
Jackie, what was your favorite bit of this episode?
So, I think I have to give it up for Lucille and her refusal to be in the legs competition at first. I thought that was adorable and hilarious.
Yes, she's amazing.
It takes a lot to resist Trixie when she's at her most Trixie. And it's just like, please, your ankles are so pretty.
But look at me, I'm blonde and cute, and let's model our legs for men.
Exactly. I gotta give it up for Lucille. That was hilarious, and she like fended Trixie off very effectively for a lot of this episode, which is more than I would ever be able to do. So
it's true. I would have just been like, yeah, sure, have at it.
Whatever, girl.
I think one of my favorite moments, and as we've seen from previous seasons of Drama After Dark, I love an adorable child character.
Oh, sure. Gotta do it.
Had the king of adorable child characters in Terry. I mean, he wants to do well in school. He loves his mother. He's very bright. And, you know, he's not coming from a great area. They're in a house that has houses being torn down left and right around them, and they have not been placed into a habitable home yet. But he is there, and he's doing his best, and he's taking care of his mom, and he's being the man of the house. And I loved him for that. Like, such a good little dude.
He might have been my favorite character in this whole episode. And also, I loved the way that they had that really sweet conversation about like what a family is, what family means, and what families look like. We've seen some interracial families on the show before, but it was so great to see like a healthy, happy family that doesn't look like everybody else, and it like warmed my cold dead heart a little bit. So that was great.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was really great. Did you have any other favorite moments, Jackie?
Oh, did I, Andrea? I think my next favorite moment has to be new favorite, Mother Mildred, just taking that creepy priest down a peg or two.
Yes.
I did not like that guy.
No, I hated that guy too. And to be honest, that relates to my second favorite moment in the show, which is when he's like, Brenda, and Brenda's like, out my face. Thank you very much. And Brenda, yes, best single episode character development.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what we call a glow up, for sure. Yeah.
100%.
Good for her, man. She had a crazy arc in just under an hour.
She did. I loved it though. Like honestly, going from you know, this, as you called her before the show, which I did threaten to aggressively assault you for once we were able to be face to face once again, but I wouldn't really. From being a mousy church secretary to being like single mother, queen of her own destiny, amazing glow up.
Yeah, good for her.
Snaps for Brenda, all over.
Snaps for Brenda. Well, so those are some of our favorite moments. Of course, we know that there are more. We want to hear what your favorite moments are. So put those in the Facebook comments, in the YouTube comments, on Twitter in reply to this post, or you can use the hashtag #DramaAfterDark. And our trusty social producer, Zach, is at his house right now, and he will find those comments and send them to us on the Slack phone. So don't forget, tell us your favorite moments. And we just added 2 Twitter polls to get your thoughts on what the hot take debate is going to be. So don't forget to weigh in. We want to hear from you about what you think as we're heading into that. But before we do, I know we already have some really fun Twitter stuff coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and pull some of that up.
Yes, please.
What do we got? Okay, so we've got a... so we've got a great tweet from So Sorry Tweets, at So Sorry Tweets, who says, can't wait about Drama After Dark. Love Call the Midwife. It's one of my first loves. Sanditon PBS has joined the list. So we've got like a multi-show fan here.
Thank you, friend.
That's awesome. Thank you for tuning in. We've got even more things pouring in. There's just a great tweet here. Actually, speaking of Brenda, at Alaska's TARDIS, great Twitter handle, says, OMG, I just realized where I've seen Brenda before. She was Mrs. Drew in Downton Abbey.
Oh!
That actually that clears a lot up. I'm really glad we saw this tweet.
Yeah. Also, I'm a little scared that Alaska might be bigger on the inside. That's kind of threatening to me.
Can you imagine? Alaska's already so big.
No.
We've got another quote. We've got a comment on Facebook from Gloria who says, "Hi, friend from Albany, New York." Hi, Gloria.
We love Albany.
Thank you for tuning in. That's
Yeah,
delightful.
We went there for a little PBS conference a few years, and there was a lovely little town. So thank you to being our host for that day and a half.
We have another comment on Facebook from Megan who says, "Snaps for Brenda." So thank you for snapping.
Agreed.
Keep them coming, guys. We will keep looking for these on the old social phone. But for now, it's time for one of my personal favorite parts of this show. Andrea, are you ready for the hot take debate?
I'm always ready for a hot take debate. I mean, I think we know that. That's what I do. I argue.
It's true. It's one of our favorite pastimes at work and abroad. So here we go. Now, so this week is a little bit different. We could not contain ourselves to just one hot take debate topic this week. So our first one is, who is the best nurse in Nonnatus house?
And
a real doozy.
We decided this had to include only present nurses.
Yes. Right. Because, you know, we've had so many wonderful nurses over the years, but this is just the current cast. So, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. Well, I am going to make the, I hope not controversial, choice to support Trixie as the best nurse in Nonnatus house, and here's why. She is very dedicated. She gives up a lot of personal things to be a nurse, and she's been there since day one, and she's constantly just killing it. Specifically, she does a lot of interesting research and volunteering in the community, so I think that she is always trying to learn and figure out ways that she can support everybody a little bit better. And the big thing for me that makes me on Team Trixie above everybody else is that she literally did a C-section in a Christmas special once, which is bonkers. Like, that's just crazy. So, Team Trixie for life. Also, like, she's adorable and I love her, so that helps too.
You know, I have to say, this was a hard decision for me, and it almost wasn't a debate because I agree with you so much on so many amazing things about Trixie. But I have to say, I think presently Val is the best nurse.
Oh, okay.
I believe that is because she's from the community, so she understands it in many of its more unique nuances than Trixie possibly can, even though Trixie tries to. Val grew up there, so she inherently understands the beliefs and the normalities of the community. I think also Val works really hard to learn new stuff. So while she might not be as accomplished as Trixie, she is going to be there someday. And then finally, you talk about Trixie giving up things. How hard is it to give up your grandmother when she's doing things that are detrimental to the community? And for those of you who might have missed this last season, what we discovered was Val's grandmother was actually the person behind a lot of the community's abortions that were ending in death, illegal abortions. And so when she found this out, she immediately turned her grandmother over, which is, I don't know that I could do that. You know, even if I knew it was damaging, I don't know that that would be my reaction. So I think Val is incredibly admirable and an incredible force for the community.
I think that's a really good point, Andrea. I don't know if I could do that in her position, especially because we know, when Gran has that conversation with her and she's like, look, I'm providing a thing that people really need. It's hard to, these are really complicated things, but my goodness, Val really took one for the team there. So
she did.
I don't think you can really lose with the nurses of Nonnatus. They're all kind of amazing.
They are. They are definitely, like, right now we have a very high-end team of nurses there, I will say that.
Firing on all cylinders, for sure. So, yeah, I think that's... I'm curious to see what the folks at home have to say because we've got the Twitter poll running. So we'll do our next hot take debate before we pop over to that. Okay. But yeah, so you guys still have time to vote. Don't forget. Our next debate topic is similar, but a little bit different. And it is, of course, who is the best nun at Nonnatus house?
Because it's so hard to judge them all in the same scale.
Exactly, right? It wouldn't be fair for us to put them all in one bucket. Now, To be fair, for this one, we did say just the regular sisters. We took out Mother Mildred because we're both so obsessed with Mary Margolis that we're like, we can't.
I'm over here being like, tell him what's up, Professor Sprout.
Yeah!
Yeah! It's going great. So I can go first on this one since you went first on the last one.
I cede the floor to you.
Okay. So I think easily the best nun in Nonata's house is Sister Julian. And there's a lot of reasons for that. It's not just because she's Jenny a Gooder, but also because it's Jenny a Gooder. He's still my beating heart. And I think, you know, she tries so hard and she has such endless patience. Like, I don't think I've ever seen her raise her voice to somebody. I think I've seen her get distressed, but I don't know that she's actually yelled or been impatient with somebody to a true detriment. Even like when Monica Joan is having issues, she sort of patiently deals with it while we have an Evangeline, R.I.P. homegirl, you know, who flies off the handle and gives Monica Joan the scolding of her life. Sister Julian's there to sort of pick up the pieces and comfort her. And I think, you know, that's so important when you're nursing, to be patient and to be understanding and empathetic. And I think also Sister Julian leads so well. Like, there's so few people who are truly good leaders, and she really is one of them. That's my reasoning behind it.
You know, those are all excellent points, and I, too, am a big fan of Sister Julian. It would be hard not to be. But I'm going to come out here and stand for my homegirl, Monica Joan.
Oh,
and,
okay. All right.
Yeah. So here's why. She is not only the most entertaining person in this entire show, consistently. Like, this was sort of a quiet episode for her, which is very odd. Like, usually she did, like, show up and drop, like, a horrible truth bomb and just leave. That was her whole thing today, which was awful.
Yeah, normally she's trying to force people into eating cake and, you know, running away.
Yeah. I love a character where the first time we ever see her, she's literally force-feeding a sweet young nurse cake. Like, that's adorable. I can't get mad at it. She also is just, like, so empathetic, so kind. She's always there to support everybody. Even when she's so confused and doesn't know how to support herself, she's there for her community. But the biggest thing for me is that she still has this, like, really deep... She's a font of knowledge, despite the fact that she's clearly, like, going through dementia. So, like, I think back to the episode a few seasons ago where she helps them diagnose cystic fibrosis in this family from, like, the ancient texts that she's reading. She's just like a
taste of salt issue.
She's just a smart cookie, and I really like her. And I feel like she's the one who would be nicest to me and feed me cake. So
there's that. Okay. You know, I wasn't thinking Monica Joan just because she isn't presently nursing, but she is presently a nun, and I'm going to have to say that I will cede the floor to you on that one, madam.
It's my loophole.
Yes.
And this is not to you know, throw any shade at the other two nuns, but I think it's probably we just don't know them that well yet. You know, they're relatively new to the show, so
yeah. Well, we will learn more and see. You know, Julianne and Monica Joan have been with us long enough, so we'll see how we feel about the two other ones as we get to know them better this season.
Now, we did promise that we wanted to see what you guys had to say out there in internet land, so I'm going to quickly go to the social phone and see what Zach has to offer here. So we've got a couple of comments on Facebook. AJ says, good points, keep the insight coming. Thank you, AJ. That's always nice to hear.
Is that my AJ or another AJ?
Another AJ, not a person that we know in person, I don't think. So that's even better. We also have Sarah, who says, hi from MD, which is Maryland, I think.
Yes, it is.
I just watched on Ouida, and I've been binge watching on Netflix as well.
Yay!
That's so great. Sarah, we know that feel. And then one of our dear friends, David, says, is there anything really important that people who are starting the show with this season should know about the characters or town or other context? That's a great question, David.
That is a really good question.
I think you'll be able to follow along pretty well because each episode is fairly self-contained. I'm trying to think of... I think the most important context is, like, remember it's the 1960s. This is, like, one of the poorer parts of London, so a lot of the stuff you're seeing is, like, not typical for the rest of the city, but is, you know, pretty intense poverty.
I think that Monica Joan has dementia, which is not something that's explicitly said often.
Yeah.
Understanding also that during this time in the 60s, this area of London was constantly under renovations with new housing developments being built. So you saw a little bit of that in the show, but understand that that's been going on for 8 seasons now.
Yeah.
And when we started the show, there were still buildings left over from the Blitz in town. So it's a grand rebuilding effort that's been going on for assumably like 8 years now.
Yeah.
Also, something people won't understand that might not seem super important at first glance is that the narrator at the beginning and the end represented a nurse who was here for the first 3 seasons. Is that right, Jackie? 4? 3?
Yes, I think the first 3. Wow, time flies.
Lewis, and it's narrated by Vanessa Redgrave, who plays the elder Jenny Lewis. So the first few seasons were based on her memoirs, and they took it off from there. And so it's sort of like if Jenny was hearing these stories and still relating them to you. So I think that's important too.
The other thing that I think is kind of important to think about is that this show is obviously set in England. But the reason that's notable is that I think when we think about World War II in the US, we think about like everyone going over to Europe to fight or over to Japan to fight. So you don't really like think about what's happening on the home front. And so all of these characters just survived a very traumatic experience together, and like they're still coming through that. So there's a lot of generational trauma that they're exploring on the show that I think is really fascinating.
And I think that also comes into play a lot more in the first couple seasons.
Definitely. Now, if you want a primer on this, I actually did write a recap of everything that has happened so far.
We just go, if you want a really good primer on
if you want to know what I have to say about this, David. But seriously, if you like just started the show, I tried to condense everything into like a very short recap. So we'll link that. And now I'm all embarrassed because I made myself sound fancy. Okay. I'm gonna head over to the Twitter poll so that we can see what everyone has said so far. Okay, so, oh wow, okay, this is fascinating. So, who's the best Call the Midwife nurse? That's poll number 1. Right now, we are seeing Trixie with 55% of the votes.
Dang.
I'm not mad at it. In second place, we have Phyllis with 30%.
Oh, Phyllis is so amazing.
Phyllis!
True. We love Phyllis.
Phyllis is a delight, and I don't think I'll ever stop being really into Phyllis. Now, here's what's interesting to me. Lucille is third in 10%, also delightful, and I think really like has a very particular, like very soothing presence that kind of counteracts everybody else. So I am with this. Val is in 4th right now with 5%. Where's the support for Val?
Really sad for my girl, you guys. Really sad.
I'm disappointed.
A little disappointed.
And let's see, do we get any replies about this? I was waiting for this. Our friend Amanda, who you'll remember from last season, is one of our guests. I see no one likes Lucille, but I do. And then she has this great gif of Issa Rae saying, "I'm rooting for everybody black," which like, that's a mood. Yeah. We get that. Support, yeah.
Lucille, but I think we all have a nurse to relate to on this.
Yes. Now we're gonna head over to the who's the best nun at Nanada's house. Whoa. Okay, Andrea, you're gonna be pleased with this result. 63.6% of our respondents are voting for Sister Julianne.
Yes.
That's the clear majority. Monica Joan is coming in second with 27.3%. Sorry, Hilda and Francis, you guys are like barely in the mix. Hilda has 9.1, and I think like maybe one person has voted for Francis.
I think that's just because we really don't know them the way that we know Julian and Monica Joan at this point. Because Julian and Monica Joan have been there since day 1, as has Trixie.
Exactly. Well, that's wild. Keep voting. We're going to keep checking the results of the polls. And if you have other questions or comments or anything, you can dump them in Facebook and Twitter, and we will keep checking this space as time goes on. However, it's now time for our next segment. Crystal Ballers!
That's where the remix would come in, the music remix of this Call the Midwife soundtrack if we had a huge budget.
Oh man, I wish we did, because that would be pretty fun. So if you've never seen our show before, when we start a new season, we always do this segment where we try and predict with our amazing brains what we think is going to happen this season on Call the Midwife. And we were a little safe our last two seasons, so we decided to really go all in, and we have a lot of predictions for you guys.
Yeah, we are indeed predicting a lot this season. A lot. I think also with Poldark, one of the things that we had there was like we knew those people. We knew what they were going to do. And aside from when it dropped literally out of the clear blue sky, or excuse me, figuratively out of the clear blue sky, like we got pretty much everything correct. But my first prediction for this season is to do with this legs modeling competition.
Oh, do tell.
I think that Lucille is going to get scouted to be a model and Trixie is going to get jealous.
I love this prediction because it makes a lot of sense. Like, we already know Lucille has amazing ankles.
Yeah, and who doesn't love an ankle? Let me tell you.
And she's adorable. But B, like, this is exactly something that Call the Midwife would do, is take something that Trixie would really want and give it to somebody else and just watch her be mad about it.
And Trixie be like, argh. It's true. It's true. I think they do that to Trixie, unfortunately, too often, because she is one of those people who just keeps going and just keeps trying. I mean, at least she has her fitness classes. There's that.
The Keep Fit classes give me so much happiness and joy to watch because they are like so fun and kind of goofy, and it's so nice to see the whole community together. It's like a great little Y class.
I love it because it reminds me of like weird art films from the 50s where we're just going to have music and look at women in awesome leotards do like fun little dance numbers, and I'm okay with that, to be honest.
I love it. I think that if they did a live stream of a Keep Fit class right now and everyone could join in, I would absolutely do that. So
100%
that's
there. Yeah.
My note for the Call the Midwife team. Make a Keep Fit class for us. Everyone will do it on Instagram. It'll be great.
Do you have a prediction, Jackie?
I do. It's actually also a Lucille prediction. I predict that by the end of this episode, she and Cyril will be at minimum engaged and probably married.
I just want to know more about Cyril because, first of all, I love a good mechanic. I don't know why, but I do know why. It's because somebody who knows how to make a car go, I'm just going to say it, like, I'm impressed with that. I do not understand combustion engines, and he is there, and I'm like, cool, you're awesome, I want to know more. Also, he's this interesting blend of stuff that Lucille finds acceptable and also a little punk rock. So I'm here for Cyril, and I want to know more.
I think anyone who can charm the softest soul in this whole house, Monica Joan, is a real contender for anybody's love. Like, she has signed off on people like successfully in the past. So like I am very much on this bandwagon. And like I said, we alternate between like horrible things happening and fun things happening. So I think they do a wedding every other season or so. So I think it's time.
Okay.
And they're so cute together.
They are. It's really cute. I think that moving away from Lucille for a minute,
sure.
My other predictions is that the Turners are going to wind up having some sort of struggle with the adoption of May, the little girl that they took in as a foster child last season, who they've now started moving towards adoption process with. I think we've not seen the end of the original adoption family in that situation.
I think you're right, or I think something else will happen because everything is too idyllic right now. Like, we're seeing these like adorable family outfits where they're all wearing cute little sweater sets and they're playing with their 7 million rabbits that they for some reason have.
I got really excited that there were rabbits in this episode, but that's just me.
I think everyone did. I saw a couple comments on Twitter of people being like, bunnies!
I mean, who isn't like that about bunnies?
It's a mood.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good prediction. Now, speaking of the Turners, we also predict that this season, our favorite young strapping lad, Timothy, is going to get a significant other of some kind, and it's going to freak everybody out. In particular, I think it's going to hit Sheila more than Dr. Turner.
Hundo P. It's going to hit Sheila bad. Hundo P. I also want to say, just a quick shout out. the shot where we had of Tim calling home for the first time after going to boarding school solidly reminded me of our coworker Stacy's son Liam, who is 14 years old, very similar age, and is also very gangly and dark-haired. So shout out to little Liam. You have a duplicate in England right now, and I got all emotional thinking about Liam going away to high school at a boarding school. Thank you.
The kids grow older, the times they are changing, etc.
Yeah. I hate it.
Timothy is so great. I love that character so much.
And the little actor's great too. I shouldn't say little actor because he's like almost, in his mid-teens now. So the bro playing Timothy's pretty good.
Young man, we approve. Some weird Americans think you're great.
And then from a more like bird's eye view of the show, I don't know if you agree with this, but in this episode we saw yet again, the second time, the council is coming for Nanada's house, and Sister Julienne is like on a weirdly quiet warpath about it. That makes me nervous, A, but B, I think we're going to have to move anyway, despite anything that Sister Julienne does.
I completely agree, because I think we've already seen that the power of the council is like somewhat absolute. You can call and yell at them and they'll like change stuff up a little bit, but like when your entire block is condemned.
Yeah. And it's not, like we saw with Terry and his mom, they moved them, but they've been planning to move them all along. It's not like Phyllis called and they were like, no, they have to stay in that horrible house. We're going to make them live in the middle of 5 other beautiful places. No, they had like planned to do it. They had just, gotten lost in the shuffle. I think in this case, it's like, bullet number 2 on the list of things that the council has to do. So.
Yeah. I think what's interesting to see is that typically Sister Julienne is like, not like a goody two-shoes, but she is a nun. She follows the rules. She, she'll go out and ask for help when she needs it. So, it's weird to see her sort of isolating and not telling the Mother Superior. Like, that's a little funky.
I'm excited to see more of that, to be honest. I like Sister Julienne the Rebel, and I want more of Sister Julienne the Rebel.
Okay, I'm not mad at it. I can get on board with that. We're gonna quickly check the old social phone, see what you guys have to say out there. Tell us if you have any of your predictions. We've got some comments. So we've got a great comment on Twitter from @JUArchivist. I am so happy that Call the Midwife is back tonight. One of the best shows on TV. If you're not watching it, you should be. Totally agree. That's a great one. What else do we got? This was, I think, one of the bigger things that we saw a lot in the whole Twitter sphere during this episode. From @ICherishWriting. Crazy how our little pandemic is lining up with the Call the Midwife and their diphtheria. So
yes, 100%. I kept saying we should call this drama after dark, Call the Midwife too soon.
Yes. We thought about it. I mean, it's so interesting to see the difference between like a disease where you can do a test, have a vaccine, can track cases, and one where like you kind of can't do a lot of those things.
Yeah. I feel like in this case, they're pretty well prepped for diphtheria in the way that we were pretty well prepped for Ebola, for instance. I mean,
right.
Ebola is a little more vicious than diphtheria, but we knew about it. We knew how to treat it. We knew all that. And I feel like the diphtheria cases we see here are a microcosm of what we see, yes, with the tracking. But, I think it's so much harder when you're like, oh, they just died of a weird flu. And then you're like, oh, no, wait.
Right.
I know that you know more about this than I do, Jackie. So.
I just, I love a show where there's any epidemiology going on. I'm a big nerd for that. For those who don't know, I went to grad school for public health, so I get really, really jazzed when we can talk about medicine and history and stuff. So this was a fun episode for me. But yeah, it's wild. It's kind of a funny timing, and I wonder what the producers over in the UK producers were thinking when they found out the air dates for this. It must have been a little interesting. So
yeah. It definitely lined up in an interesting way for us.
Sure did. Now we're going to go into our last major segment of the night, which is, of course, if you like this, gotta do it with the hand gesture and the terrible voice.
Every time.
Now, we have two different choices for you tonight. We both picked, and if you like this suggestion, I can go first if you want, Andrea.
Go ahead, go for it. I think
So-
mine's predictable, so.
It may just be predictable to us because we know you so well, but my if you like this pick for tonight is a little bit strange, content-wise, but there is a connection, which is the delightful Miriam Margolis. We talked about how much we love her earlier in the show. She's in both of these shows, and the show that I'm suggesting to you right now is Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries. Now, I know, so it's a little predictable that I would suggest this show. I love it. I think it's delightful. It's got everything you might want in a show. You got a sassy lady detective, like charming companion, a wonderful cop who's really into her for her personality. It's just great. But our very own Mother Mildred plays the similarly kind of crunchy Aunt Prudence, but she's much more curmudgeonly and bougie in Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries. A lot of fun to watch.
I love it. Can I inject here with my favorite Miriam Margolis, which I know I've told you before, my favorite sort of anecdote about her?
Please inject.
So we all know that she was Professor Sprout in the Harry Potter series, the Harry Potter Evil. I totally forgot how to say that, but it's fine. Anyway, something I found out is that when she joined the cast, Mary Margolis is apparently a potty mouth, swears like a sailor. That because, well, you don't know this, dear audience, I tend to do that. I've gotten good at controlling it on television, mostly. Anyway, they had to institute on the Harry Potter set a swear jar because she kept swearing in front of the children.
That's incredible.
My favorite thing about her. That's like such a mood, right? Is at least for me, it's one of those things where I'll say something in a restaurant and somebody goes, "There are 6 children behind you," and I go, "Oh."
Yeah, that's a big mood. I think if you are looking for a fun activity, you should look up all of her television interviews because she just is a ray of sunshine.
She is. And also, to be honest, like, I kind of feel like that's what we would expect from Mother Mildred, too. Like, if she wasn't a nun, she would be swearing a blue streak because she is over it.
Totally. Anyway, if you like this, if you like Mother Mildred, you should definitely check out Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries because it's great. And the movie just dropped on the internet recently. So, yeah, big fan. And now, Andrea, hit us with your pick.
My pick this week is going to be Father Brown, which, again, very shocking for me. But the reason I'm recommending Father Brown is because, A, it is set in almost the same time period. This sort of like late 50s, early 60s vibe is very present throughout the show. I think it also has a very similar drama balanced with comedic flair. And if you like mysteries, those are in there as well in a way that's very easy. Like, it's a very easy show to watch and to consume. Also, in season 1, episode 2, I believe, Sheila is a character in one of the mysteries, which is super fun.
Ooh.
2 is one of the main characters from Father Brown is the woman who sold Sheila her wedding gown when she was marrying Dr. Turner.
Wow.
So, as always, Brittany's just piling it on. But yeah, overall, it's a very simple vibe, but instead of baby mysteries.
Well, I'm not mad at that. I have actually never seen it, so I need to add that to my to-be-watched list while we're all stuck in our houses.
And as I've been telling you for months now, fine.
Well, we, of course, that's our picks, but we want to hear from you guys. So I'm going to check one last time the social phone. Let's see.
The comment of the day.
Oh, we have one more Facebook comment that I'm going to read out that's not our comment of the day, but is delightful. And it's Deborah or Deborah, I'm not sure which is the right pronunciation, says, "Hi, love Drama After Dark, watching in Massachusetts." Thank you. That's so nice.
Thank you.
Here's our comment of the day, because this is just, like, kind of encapsulates this perfectly. At BethGrace194 on Twitter says, "Things bringing me joy today. Sunshine, virtual church and cafe hour, baking, walks, endless cups of Yorkshire Gold tea, the US season premiere of Call The Midwife.
Yes, 6 great things.
Yeah, all delightful. You gotta get your joy while you can these days. So
True.
yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, that's our comment of the day.
That's our comment of the day, and I think that's our show of the day too, Jackie, huh?
Indeed it is.
It is. So thank you everybody for joining us on this, our slightly unusual inaugural Drum After Dark. We hope you come back and join us in our fancy pajamas next week. And we really appreciate everybody coming in to watch with us today, and we really hope you're all doing good and staying healthy out there. And we'll see you next week.
Bye guys.
Bye.